There we go. Okay.
Hello. Wednesday evening. It is. Yes,
Wednesday.
it's Wednesday. The nurse knows. Oh, we have been absent for so long, but
We're still here and we still want to bring you knowledge and education and hopefully some laughs with that.
yes, definitely some laughter. We could all use it.
Has gone on.
Yes. So let's just kind of talk about we've both been working in our new jobs now for a few months.
It's going well.
Yeah, you're liking working from home?
Yes, I do. I love it. It's my sanctuary.
Your safe space.
It's my safe place. So I do. And I like the work that I do. So it's kind of interesting that I get to I'm cross training now where I'm doing prior authorizations or not prior authorizations for post-acute facilities, but now I'm also doing it for the acute facilities, so inpatient stays. So it's interesting, but then it's also like because I read a bunch of I read doctor's notes all day long, and so even today, like there was a story of a patient, but we call them members now. But literally, they had gone to the emergency room for something, and towards the end it was like a cancer diagnosis. And so it was like, it's just like hard, like it's still, I think nursing, there's a lot of heaviness. And I thought I would be like, and I am at arm's length from the heaviness, but it's there. So
because you can imagine the feeling of that member being like, but I came here for this, not this. How did we end up here?
Yeah, it's crazy. So
I'm glad you love working from home. I've got to work from home. I myself got COVID, vaccinated and boosted, and it traveled through my entire house. So I am still feeling tired, and some of the brain fog, I think, were really and the headaches were the main symptoms for me. Likely Omicron. Ran through my whole house, and so I got to work from home for a lot of that time because I was feeling well enough. I don't love working from home. I love that I was able to. But I realized which will kind of bridge us into our next section, for my mental health and seasonal mood disorder, as I self-diagnose, it's worse for me to work from home. But I feel like you would say that you're handling things maybe a little bit better because you're working from home. Is that a fair statement?
Yeah, which is so funny. Look at us, to like polar opposites.
You're the yin to my yang.
I feel like I feel like you need that like connection. Like you need that, you feel better with that human being connection. Yeah. Where I'm nope, just
and it's so much different in the role that I'm in now, so I'm still talking with patients when they're discharged. So when they're leaving the skilled facilities or the hospitals, I'm still talking with them, or when they're in the emergency room and they get that cancer diagnosis, I'm talking with them, and they're saying, how am I gonna, navigate this world? But it's in a much less stressful way, because a lot more of what I'm doing is calling and saying, hey, check your poop chute, get your boobies checked.
So Carrie will be the one calling you, telling you to get your colonoscopy.
Yes. Yes.
That's all things that's good, because that's so much. And I think honestly, that probably has a lot to do with why people are experiencing these things, going in and then they're getting a diagnosis that they're not hoping for, because so many of these preventative
screenings have been put off because of COVID. And that will be for another show. But seasonal mood disorder, Sam, what is it?
So I don't know the textbook term, but, and I self-diagnosed with it as well, of where you just get down during the change in the weather. It's not as warm out, it's cold out, you don't want to go outside, you're not getting as much sun, you're not getting as much vitamin D, and those are all things that help with your mood and help, being able to move and exercise more freely outside helps with your mood as well. And so I think a lot of people, it affects a lot of people, but I myself, like the past 2 days, 2 or 3 days, didn't realize quite how, and I just had this, I described it as this overwhelming, like sad feeling. Like I just, and my body didn't feel tired, but all I wanted to do was close my eyes. And I actually wrote about it a little bit today, where I think like the best thing was that like I accepted that I was feeling that way. And my husband, Dale, really just like gave me space to feel it and to just said, whatever you need, let me know. And so I just kind of like tried to navigate through it, accepted that I was feeling this way. And then this morning I was able to, and it's not as quick, it's sometimes these things can last months for people, even years. But then this morning I was able to wake up and like get out of bed. It wasn't that awful dragging myself, I don't want to get out of bed feeling.
So according to the National Institute for Mental Health .gov, to properly give credit, it sounds to me like some of those classic things. So Sam, some of what you're saying, feeling depressed, experiencing having problems either with sleep or difficulty with concentrating, and kind of social withdrawal. They say specifically feeling like hibernating. Like, and for me, other symptoms for it. So a little bit on the opposite end, mine have been weight gain and overeating, as well as trouble sleeping and kind of feeling restless and agitated. So even though I feel tired, right? Like my seasonal, mood just sort of kind of resonates in anxiety and this frustration. And like, sometimes I just feel like I want to crawl out of my own skin. I'm so stuck, in the house. Maybe that's why I don't like working from home, because when the sun's out, when the weather's warm, I love nothing more than to be outside.
Yeah.
But I hate the cold. And we are in are we the northeast part of the country?
Yeah.
Not quite as cold. It's worse further north. We're in Pennsylvania.
But it's going to be 3 degrees tomorrow morning. So that's, our kids have a 2-hour delay. So that's, I
send your kids with gloves and their hats, or keep them home.
Coats, even the 13-year-olds. But yeah, so much of that, I think it is important. So many people hear self-care. Like, what is self-care, and what does that look like to everybody? And I think really it's going to be different for everybody. And I think everybody needs to understand that, for some people it's, eating healthy and going to the gym, 7 days a week. For somebody else, it might be, reading a book or hugging a dog, or, so it's, you just kind of, I always feel like whatever replenishes your soul is what I feel like. So that's like, whatever that thing is that makes your soul go, like, that's what you need to do, basically.
Yes. And it's different for everybody, like you said, but also sometimes my self-care is sleeping or taking a nap and just resting. Sometimes my self-care is watching a show that my husband hates by myself without my kids and just enjoy.
Teen mom.
Okay. I'm a grown woman, but I love my teen mom. I can't help it. I just love it. I don't know why. It's the dumbest show, but I love it. Okay. But my self-care tonight was like a deep conditioner on my hair. I shaved. I put lotion on. And I painted my toes.
Yeah. And you don't realize, like, it seems like, oh, they're just little things that but sometimes those little things have such a big impact on how you're feeling.
Yeah. I feel like a woman.
I love it.
Like just a scalding hot shower at that. Okay. I'm one of those crazy people who, like, I could live in hell because me and the devil can be really good friends, keeping the temperature that hot all the time. Okay. So, like, I got out of the shower and I blow dried my hair and I just feel better.
Yeah.
Today, like tonight, now, and seeing you, my friend.
Yes. And that's important too. Like, you know, you don't realize, like, the connections that you have with people and with your family, and those, like, all of that's so important into who we are as people and what makes us feel human. So
yeah. Well, and, you know, another thing with, you know, seasonal disorder, so, you know, we talk about self-care and how can that help seasonal disorder, but, you know, people who have a history of anxiety or depression, as well as other things like bipolar disorder, will commonly experience worsening of those symptoms in the wintertime, or you know, when it's darker for longer, you know, when it's starting into the winter period here in this part of our, you know, our country. And so while we stress, you know, self-care being important, it's also important to talk about, how does therapy help?
Yes.
Right?
And
what part does therapy have in between your regular anxiety and when it's worse in the winter?
Yeah. I think that's a good point, because a lot of it is learning coping mechanisms, to not say that you're never going to feel this way and that you're not, you know, that you're going to get rid of feeling this way. You're probably going to feel something for the rest of your life. But I think I really recently, like the, more of a holistic approach of, you know, there's a little bit of everything. Like, I take medication. I'm on Prozac, and Prozac, you know, that treats my anxiety and depression. I need to be more consistent with it, but you know, taking it does help. I have an as needed medication. So right there's, you know, the pharmaceuticals, which not everybody is into. Other things that I've done is I you know, CBD drops. I do meditation.
Meditation's a good one.
Yeah. And I do. And so I've started to use, like, meditation to help reduce anxiety so that I don't necessarily have to turn to the pharmaceutical.
Right.
But, and then you have therapy in there. So then it's therapies helping you work through, you know, what you're feeling, why you're kind of feeling it, and being able to manage it. And so I
look at the coping that you've used in the past that hasn't been helpful, and looking at some of the coping maybe you've used before that has been helpful, and building off of that,
right,
to try to, you know, help yourself kind of, you know, navigate those feelings. So like you said, Dale kind of let you be, said, I'm here if you need me. You know, it sounds like you knew in those moments, like, this is what I need right now to try to refill my cup, so to speak, a little bit.
Yeah. And I think, you know, communicating, especially with those that you live with, because at first, you know, I think they tend to think, like, if you're, you know, some way, or a lot of times depression comes off as you're mad at somebody or something, you know what I mean? That type of thing. And I communicated with him and said, no, like, I'm just feeling, this is what I'm feeling. I don't know why I'm feeling. I need to get through it. So, yeah.
So important, you know, points for this, I think, for our listeners, our watchers, our friends, our family, mental health. And we could have 10 episodes, more than 10 episodes.
Well, I'm sure we'll have more in the future
on mental health, you know, and burnout and all, you know, all of these things. But, on the condensed end of that, like we are all suffering in one way or another together in same and different ways. And we need to be there for our friends and our family and to say, like, it's okay that you're having a bad day, and it's okay if you're feeling like you can't give any more of yourself today and you need to, take some time for you in whatever way that is. And, we'll be here whenever, whenever you get on the other side.
Yeah.
Now for people who maybe are watching and they are saying, okay, I've been feeling this way and it's getting worse, and it's not getting any better, or, what can I do? Who can I call? Those sort of things. So a lot of your, I guess, individual counties or your states will have phone numbers. I'm not going to give out local ones. People who are in Pennsylvania can kind of,
I have
some of those are, but the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline toll-free number, 1-800-273-TALK. That's 8255. Again, 1-800-273-TALK. It is like a warm line. Also, there's a crisis text line for those of you who maybe can't really talk about it, but you feel comfortable texting, and you can text HELLO, HELLO, to 741-741. Or you can also go to the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline if you are feeling like you may want to harm yourself, or like your feelings are going to a really dark place. Please use one of those phone numbers. We want to keep everybody around and know that you're not alone.
Yes. Greatly stated, Carrie. So that's it, and hopefully we'll get another episode in next week. So
yes, we are going to try for weekday nights, you guys. So you know how to find us: TikTok, Facebook,
YouTube,
Instagram, Twitter.
Yep.
And I am having a mental blank on our blog page. Our blog page.
Yes.
Yes. The WordPress.
Mm-hmm.
Is that it?
It's the Nurse Dose.
At the WordPress.
We'll post it.
Okay. It's past my bedtime. So I think.
All right.
Have you guys.
Bye.